Ciao a tutti, welcome back to the ESC Bubble channel. We're back with another reaction video, and this time we're going to be talking about all 30 of the Sanremo 2024 finalists. My name is Erwin, and joining me for this review video are Sean, Joe, and Isaac. First up, we have Maninni with Spettacolare.
So I just want to start off by saying that I've not done the live performances. I've done all the music videos instead. So I'll be offering slightly different comments. But yeah, this song is very strong. I mean, to be honest, this Italian selection has completely blown me away. I think almost all of them are really, really good. This one is a strong ballad, but in this selection, it just kind of, for me, doesn't stand out. But like I say, there are so many good songs here. I really like this one, but it's still in my lower half because there are just too many good songs. It's a good ballad. It's got a great voice. I just can't see it standing out in this mix, to be honest.
I just want to add, it reminded me a little bit of Ermal Meta's Un milione di cose da dirti from a couple of years ago, and that made me like it a little bit more. But let's score it out of 10. Isaac?
7.
I'll go with 7 as well. Sean?
5.
Joe?
Nice 8.
Next up, we have Il Tre with Fragili.
So this song had the unenviable task of closing the first night of Sanremo, and you do not want to be waiting until like 3 in the morning. That's probably why Il Tre ended the show, because this show ended at Il Tre in the morning, or that was what it felt like if you were watching. What I would say is it's really honourable to go for like a pure rap song at Sanremo, some lovely Italian dictive melded with sort of modern pop sounds, and also to not sing about like love or world peace, but to go for sort of more raw mental health subject. He had so much conviction on that stage, and he absolutely sold this performance, even after waiting for all that time. I don't think it will make a dent on the final results, but, he is a name to watch in the future.
Put that into points, Joe. Out of 10?
I am going to give this a 7.
Isaac?
Yep, 7.
I'll go the opposite way. I'll go 3. Sean?
6.
The third act is going to be Fred De Palma with Il cielo non ci vuole.
I really didn't know what to expect from Fred De Palma, but for some reason I associate him in the same category of singers as I put someone like Rocco Hunt. So I was expecting something a little bit summery, a little bit maybe tropical, with some auto-tune, or maybe more than some. And I only heard the song once on the night. I didn't stream it yet, and I was quite disappointed. The song wasn't immediate for me. It wasn't the summery stuff that I was expecting. Like when we had Anna Mena, for example, at Sanremo, a lot of people didn't like her song, but at least it stood out. And then we could see that in the televote, she didn't do so badly. But this one really just fades into the background for me. I'm sorry, I was disappointed.
Out of 10? Sean?
6.
Joe?
8 from me.
Isaac?
7.
I'll go 8 as well. Next up, we have Francesco Renga and Nek with Pazzo di te. Now, I felt like when I was watching this live performance that if I just randomly tuned into Sanremo, this is exactly what I would expect to hear. Italian stars singing like a power ballad and putting a lot of emotions into their performance. The song is nothing that we haven't heard before, but it does sound like an absolute Italian classic, and their vocals are very strong and they match perfectly in this song. I don't know, for me, it was perfectly nice. It was very powerful, very enjoyable, but as I said, like, nothing new, but it stood out because of the power that they brought on stage for me. And I'm going to kick the voting off with a 7 for this one. Sean?
4.
Joe?
6 for the veterans.
Isaac?
7.
Wow.
We continue with Negramaro and Ricominciamo tutto.
So as I mentioned, I did the music videos for the songs, and this one completely blew me away. My favorite all-time Eurovision selection song or chosen song ever is Ultimo's song from last year. This was the closest thing that we've had to that since, and it's probably one of my favorite Eurovision songs ever now. I think it's absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's so just the melody is perfect, the chords are great, the way it builds, the arpeggios that come in, it's absolutely fantastic. I can't believe more people aren't talking about this. I'm shocked. I can see that they're still relatively high in the odds, but it looks like they're not going to stay there. And I just really want this to do well, but I don't think it will because I love it.
I think it's going down because a lot of betting people have seen the live performance, unfortunately.
I'm trying to save those for Saturday, so I will see, but I don't know.
Let's put that into points. Isaac?
10.
You're not going to like this. I'm going to give it a 4. Sean?
5.
Joe?
All in the live, I'm giving it a 4.
We continue with Mahmood and Tuta Gold.
So Mahmood has returned from his long-anticipated year-long slumber, and he has a centimetre of hair, and my goodness, he is a new man. Well, I say he's a new man. He is pure Ghetto Limpo once again. Ghetto Limpo, one of the best albums of our generation. I still listen to that now. This song, Tuta Gold, he's not in a Tuta Gold, he's in pure black leather, and he absolutely sold this performance. I have no criticisms of this. Like the soldy claps have been replaced with like an old style dial tone, which absolutely slaps. His voice is so beautiful. There is nobody who can meld sort of English words into a song like rave and fake and blue jeans as slickly as he does. Like, I was singing this on my commute. I'm already a huge fan. I'm already obsessed. I love this.
I didn't find it that catchy, but I do feel like this is going to be a grower probably, so I'm going to get more used to it by the final. Let's put that into points. Joe?
10. 10.
Isaac?
7.
I'll go 7 as well. Sean?
7.
Song 7 in today's review is going to be Sinceramente by Annalisa.
I am really flattered that I have been given the honor to talk about one of the potential winners of Eurovision Song Contest 2024. Yes, I think this is excellent. This is modern without feeling try hard. It is really respectable. It is really, it's consistent in the sense that all the things that need to be right are right. The song is banging, the production is great, there's a melody, Annalisa's vocals are exceptionally good for what the song is. I think this is just an all-rounder, and I really wasn't expecting Annalisa to slap that hard, because for some reason there is always a lot of anticipation with her, and then it kind of really fades into nothing. But really and truly, I do think this can win Sanremo. Obviously, I think it's a contender for the Eurovision win if it gets there. And yeah, I mean, she's just fantastic. This is one of the best.
Out of 10?
10.
Joe?
I'm giving this a 9.
Isaac?
8.
I'll go one down as well, 7. We're going to continue with Diamanti Grezzi, performed by Clara. So this was the first song performed on the first night of Sanremo this year, and I honestly wasn't sure what to expect, considering that she was the winner of Sanremo Giovani, but it definitely wasn't. I didn't get what I expected in a weird way. It started off a little bit boring and a little bit like old-fashioned, but the mood changed as soon as the beat kicked in the chorus. The structure of the song in some particular parts reminded me a little bit of Elodie's Andromeda. And I don't know, like the whole thing worked. And I felt that this was a very, very strong start of the festival. And she performed the hell out of that song. She looked great on stage. Her vocals were amazing. And I couldn't have been more pleasantly surprised if I tried, to be honest. I'll start the voting for this one off with an 8. Sean?
7.
Joe?
It's a 9.
Isaac?
6.
We continue with Diodato and Ti Muovi.
So the lineup of this contest really read kind of like a fan's dream of Sanremo. Like we've got another former winner in Diodato who stormed onto the scene with Fai Rumore, which kind of became the unofficial anthem of COVID in Italy, and then proceeded to have a fairly modestly successful European tour. I've seen him live. He's an absolute musician. And I think this song doesn't really reflect his talents as well as it could have done. Like, if you're going to Sanremo, you need to be sending your best. And for me, this just kind of felt like a Diodato album track. It's like, he turns up sort of in his sort of, Liam Gallagher sheet garb and then sort of sings this really soaring ballad, which, to be fair, he sells it with conviction and he's a fantastic performer. Was kind of surprised at the end when he brought on all of the not so senior members of production to sort of dance with him in a sort of hippie fashion with like arms flailing and stuff. But, it makes a contrast from him being alone in the Arena di Verona in 2020. So, he can have that, I guess.
Ti Muovi out of 10. Joe?
It's a solid 7.
Isaac?
Yeah, it's not Fai Rumore, but it's a 7.
I'll go 5. Sean?
It's not a solid at all, but it's a 4.
The 10th act we're going to be discussing is Emma with Apnea.
So I've listened to most of the songs 2 or 3 times now, and on my first listen, Emma's song and Annalisa's were on a very similar level for me. They both had that sort of similar upbeat pop vibe, but Emma's was a bit more dark, maybe. But now that I've done it a few more times, Annalisa's has grown on me. This one hasn't. I thought it was quite impactful on first listen, and she got a great voice, and I do like the instrumentation a lot. But it's a bit surface level compared with some of the other songs that are a lot more layered and interesting. And I do worry that it's not one that people are going to go for. But like I say, I do quite like this. I just don't think it's going to stand out, especially when we've got Annalisa doing a similar thing better.
Out of 10 for Emma. Isaac?
7.
I'll go with a 4. Sean?
7.
Joe?
It's also a 7.
We continue with Bunker 44 and Governo Punk. Please don't judge me, but the way that I felt about these guys when they showed up on stage, all looking very different to each other, all dressed very differently, I kind of felt like these were the guys that would probably like always pick last for sports in school, and they decided to form a band. They're just like an odd bunch, but in a very weird way, it works. The song was interesting, again in a weird way. What I didn't understand was their choreography, their stage presence, why they were pushing each other on stage randomly, why it was like so messy. Like, I didn't get that at all. The song was all right. It was performed pretty good, but overall, this just like left me really confused. but again, in a kind of positive way. So I'm gonna kick this one off with a 6. Sean?
6 as well.
Joe?
Bunker 44, get in the bunker. This is getting a 2.
Oh, wow. Isaac?
7.
Isaac, get in the bunker as well.
We continue with Alfa and Vi.
I really wanted to like this one. I really like his discography. This summer he released a song called Bellissima or Bellissimissima. I don't know because he says it in different ways during the song. But I really like Alpha, and I was looking forward. Unfortunately, the song gives me downgraded George Ezra 5 years ago kind of vibe. It's very flying your kite in the park, motivational kind of. I don't know. It's just not my thing. The only thing that saves it is that it's in Italian. But obviously, those are the rules. The song has to be in Italian. So I was pretty disappointed.
Put that into points, Sean.
6.
Joe?
Way too mellow for me. This is a 6.
Isaac?
This doesn't sound like a Sanremo song. It's a 5.
I'll go with a 7. Next up, we have Gazzelle with Tutto Qui.
This is another song I feel like I love and other people don't. I think it's really good. I don't know, it touches me. I think it's just a beautiful song. It's so simple and pared back, but it works so well. It's just the piano, his voice, a little bit of strings that come in, and it's so effective. I mean, we've got Diodato in this selection, and I don't think he's great, but this for me is the closest thing to Fire Amore that we have. It's simple, but really effective, and I love it.
Lots of
I'm
disapproving
physically going
looks.
to put you. Sorry, I'm physically going to put you in front of the live show after this, Isaac, because it would be so different.
Okay.
Let's kick off the vote. Isaac?
9.
I'll go 3. Sean?
6.
Joe?
I don't normally do this, but this was pure club singer. It's getting a 1.
Ew.
Wow. Now we have La Sed with Autodistruttivo.
I'm happy that Amma was kind of going for genre diversity by picking what can kind of conservatively be described as a punk rock song. But I can't help but think that the only reason he really picked this band with their sort of multicolored hair and kind of stage presence that rivaled that of Bunker 44 is like because they'd be good fodder for Fanta Sanremo, which incidentally they are on my team and are doing me wonders. I'm currently leading among my friends after the first night, not in small part thanks to their first performance, which was full of memorable moments, just them walking around in a circle. It's admirable. The subject matter of the song is very admirable, and they had the people with the placards, which I did think we were going to get like a rendition of Love Actually at one point, like, you know, say it's carol singers, but like, you know, if you don't speak Italian, it's fairly obvious what this song is about, and it's not really something to make a joke about. But like, yeah, this performance was a bit of a hot mess, and a part of me wanted to like it, but a part of me just thinks, yeah, this is fodder for 25th place.
Turn that into points, Joe.
Down the middle, I'm giving this a 5.
Isaac?
This has grown on me with repeat listens. It's a 7.
It's not growing on me. This is a 3. Sean?
I love it. It's a 7.
Next up, we have Geolier with I per me, tu per te.
I had high expectations here as well. He's a very, very successful artist lately in Italy. More on Spotify than the live performances. And it's quite a new thing that these kinds of artists are entering Sanremo. Last year we saw it with Lazza. This year we have Geolier. So I'm glad that this genre of the Italian music scene is getting representation at Sanremo. The song I like a lot, but I feel like it it kind of sometimes they do it like they want to enter Sanremo to represent their demographic or whatever it's called, and then the song ends up being a little bit trying to fit in to Sanremo. I feel like it could have been much bolder, and I don't think it's gonna win. It was very high on the betting odds at one point. I think it still is in third place. There could be a lot of televote support, but I don't see the press jury or the radio jury rating this very highly. Maybe the radio jury actually, but still not enough to be in the top five.
I just have to say, Sean, that I would compare this somehow to Eden by Rancore and Mai Dire Mai by Willy Peyote, but this is just nowhere near as good as those songs were.
Agreed.
Out of 10, Sean?
7.
Joe?
It's a 9 for T for 2 and 2 for T.
Isaac?
I feel the same way about this as I did with Chenere. It's a 7.
I'm the strictest one here. I'm going to give this a 4. Believe it or not, we're halfway through, and we continue with Santi Francesi and L'amore in bocca. Again, this is one of those that I didn't know what to expect. These guys also come from Sanremo Giovanni, and they brought a song that's kind of like dark electropop, and the type of dark electropop that I really like to listen to. And I felt like this is like such a positive surprise. It was really nicely put together from the very beginning. It was building up nicely. The chorus stood out. It was very well sung and very nicely performed. The two guys, even though they don't interact with each other so much on stage, I don't know, even the camera work was working for them in a way. However, I did not appreciate the random yawn or when the main singer just kept his mouth open for about like 5 seconds, because it was like 1:30 here and I started yawning with them. So that was the only negative thing I can say about all of this. But overall, like, yeah, I'm quite a big fan of this one. I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to hearing them again, and I hope that they do well in the final.
Is that actually what L'amore in bocca is? It's like the ability to transmit a yawn during a song.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. Let's score it out of 10. I'll start with a 9. Sean?
6.
Joe?
Yeah, yawn potential. This was a 6.
Isaac?
8.
We continue with Sangiovanni and Finiscimi.
I really like this song. I don't think it would do that well at Eurovision. I think it's a bit too out there. It's very strange sounds and chords, and it's not got the sort of standard structure of a lot of the songs we see in Italy. It reminds me a little bit of Ariette's song from last year, that sort of a bit jazzy, guitar-y, different vibe. I really like it. I think after Farfalle, I wasn't expecting this from him. I loved Farfalle, and I love this as well. I don't think it will do that well, though. And if it does go to Eurovision, I definitely don't think it will do well there. I'm glad it's in the selection, but I think it should just stay here and be something to be enjoyed.
Yeah, I love what you said about the comparison with Farfalle. It's actually really weird because Farfalle to me was the most immediate song you can have, and this is like the opposite. I really don't understand why he came back with this song, but
It is what it is. Out of 10, Isaac?
8.
I'll go 4. Sean?
7.
Joe?
He's just coming back to pay for his fishing gear. This is a 5. '15 Eurovision entrants are next. Il Volo with Capolavoro. This is actually really apt that Il Volo have come back to Sanremo in the year after 3 of my friends won the Eurobash Song Contest in the UK as Il Volo doing Grande Amore. So I know they're probably going to be watching this and are wondering why I and they share what is going to be quite a different response to the very lukewarm response this has got on social media. But I really like this. I think the thing that this song does that maybe Grande Amore didn't do is kind of show off the sort of the different vocal capabilities of each of the guys. And I also love that each of them has had their own sort of Marco Mengoni glow up. Like, you know, they've gone from, you know, timid barista to gorgeous man on the front of Cosmopolitan all across Italy. Like, you know, I commend them for that, you know, chiseled beards and everything. The only thing I would say about this song, I know capolavoro means masterpiece in Italian, but it does sound like a washing machine detergent or something. Like, washing machines live longer with Il Volo, and that's your out.
I just have to add some. Sorry, Joe. I just have to add that I actually really like that they came back with something that's a lot more pop and a lot less opera, because it's quite different to their previous entries. Let's score this out of 10. Joe?
9.
Isaac?
8.
I'll go 7. Sean?
It's not a capolavoro. It's a 5.
Next up, we have Irama with Tu No.
I talked a lot about my expectations for specific acts, but I think Irama's the one that I always have the most expectations for. Every time he enters Sanremo, he just gets me. He never misses a shot with me, ever. And I was thinking, surely, you know, this is too soon after the capolavoro that is Ovunque Sarai to come back and try to win it. And Puno is this one is a capolavoro. This is a great song. It's so beautiful. And Irama just when he sings, you don't expect that voice to come from him. He looks like he's about to maybe he looks like he's about to beat you up. But he sings, I don't want to say like an angel, but there's a lot of surprise factor is what I'm trying to say here. And I think he's such a talented artist. I don't really say this about anyone, but I feel like anything Irama touches is brilliant.
Maybe like an angel with a cold.
Yeah, maybe, or like a tank top.
This is turning weird, so let's turn that into points. Sean?
It's a 9.
Joe?
Not for me, it's a 6. Sorry.
Isaac?
Of the ones that I love, this is the only one I think has a chance of winning. It's a 9.
I'll give it an 8.
Consistent.
Next up, we have the Kolors with Un ragazzo, una ragazza. I kind of feel like the guys really tried to play like the Italo disco card here, the same as one of their latest singles. The song has a really good beat. It's very catchy, and once again, I feel it like I liked it at the first listen, but I feel like it's just gonna grow from here. And the line "Un ragazzo, una ragazza" immediately stayed in my head together with the fingers in the air. I don't know, kind of had an instant effect, not as strong as with Frida a couple of years ago when they competed as well, but it's still a really good song. It's very catchy, very happy, very upbeat. And even though they didn't make the top 5 with the juries from the first night, I feel like they should really be like very close to being up there. And I hope that the televote is going to actually push them through to the top 5. And I'll kick this off with a 9. Sean?
7.
Joe?
Winner of OGA second chance. This is a 10.
Isaac?
7.
We continue with Mr. Rain and Due Altalene.
Yeah, I absolutely love Mr. Rain as an artist. Super Roy was my most played song last year. So I had high expectations for this. There were about 5 or 6 artists that I was really excited to see. Some didn't live up to the hype, like Diodato, and a couple, including this one, did for me. I absolutely love this. I think it's fantastic. It's not what I expected at all, to be honest. He has quite a sort of set formula that he uses for most of his songs, and it doesn't really follow that formula at all. It's a lot more emotional, and it's not got the usual edge it does. It's a bit softer in a way, but it works so well. The music video is really touching as well. The guy sort of when the 2 swings and the feathers, I just think this is fantastic. I don't know why he's not that high in the odds. This is the kind of thing I thought people would really like. Yeah, I'm rooting for it. I don't know if it will have any chance of winning, but I hope it does. I love it.
Can I just answer your question about why it's not high in the odds? Because this is the exact song you would listen to on a Panettone commercial. And all of Italy is still scandalized by the Panettone scandal of Chiara Ferragni. Therefore, Mr. Rain, not this year.
Out of 10, Isaac?
9.
I was just like losing interest the more the song was going on, so I'm going to give this a 4. Sean?
I'm gonna give this a very, very generous 4.
Joe?
I'm giving this an 8, which is double what I gave Supereroi. You can thank me later, Italy.
Next up, we have Fino a Qui, performed by Alessandra Amoroso.
So this was possibly one of the most highbrow songs in the contest this year. Like, there are so many references to things I have either studied for my degree or have come across through people referencing stuff in Sanremo songs. Like, this oozed classic Sanremo chic. So it references Vasco Rossi's Sally. It references La Haine, which if you've studied French at any point, you probably know inside out. The title, in fact, Fino a Qui, is an extension of Fino a Qui tutto bene, which is so far so good. The line of, like, it sort of plays on this idea of like love as not sort of a romantic sort of thing, but like a fall from a metaphorical skyscraper. And that line sort of so far so good. But the thing is, the key thing is not the fall, it's the landing. And this landed with an absolute bang in the Ariston. Like, she cites Anastasia as one of her main vocal influences, and like you can tell that like her vocals were absolutely on point, sort of distinctive and slightly American, dare I say. But yeah, this is a performance you could just copy and paste, slap on Cosmo. Like, this was class.
Turn that into points, Joe.
I'm going to give this an 8.
Isaac?
Yeah, an 8.
I feel like she's so much better than the song. I'm going to give this a 5. Sean?
I agree with Irvin. It's a 6.
We continue with Dargen D'Amico and Onda Alta. As soon as this song started, like, my foot was tapping to it, and my first thought of this is like, damn, this is good. This is the type of Italian rap that I was waiting for like the entire night. And the only thing I didn't understand here was the teddy bears. Why were they around his neck? Why were they on his shoes? Why did the backing singers have like sunglasses or regular glasses, whatever they were, made out of these teddy bears as well? This is the thing I didn't get. But regardless, this was good. It kind of had like an authentic feel to it, and I felt like it's maybe kind of like a more modern Bella Ciao, because it had that sort of like an anthemic sort of sound. The chorus of it was also like very easy to remember, and it was very easy to sing along to from the first time that you listened to it. And the only thing that made me laugh here was that he actually managed to rhyme bambino with casino.
When you find out the subject matter of this song, those teddy bears take on a very dark meaning. Like, this is quite in your face.
I'll have to read a little bit more into it then, Joe. I'll kick this voting off with a 9 for now. Sean?
7.
Joe?
It's also a 9.
Isaac?
8.
We're going to continue with Ghali and Casa Mia.
Yeah, I really like this, and I think it stands out. There's a lot of songs here which are similar sounding. That you got the ballads, you got the upbeat ones, but this one kind of separates from the rest. I think it's got a sort of old school feel. It's upbeat, it's fun. I don't know what's going on in the music video, but he's dancing with some walrus-like creature in a kid's playground. Yeah, I think this is fantastic. Again, I don't know how well it will do with the public, but I hope they get behind it, and it's one that I'm probably going to play. Probably going to play this the most. Actually, it's an easy one that doesn't get me too emotional, so I can play this quite a lot. And yeah, I think it's really good.
Out of 10?
8.
Yeah, you and I will never agree on anything, I would guess. This is a 5 for me. Sean?
6.
Joe?
Funky walrus goodness. I'm giving this an 8.
Next up, we have the winner of the press jury vote, Loredana Berte with Pazza.
This is excellent. I feel like a lot of Euro fans who are following Sanremo as a national final are probably really angry that this is the first, this is at the first place in the rankings right now. And my response to that is, Sanremo is not a national final. Sanremo is a league of its own. It has a history so much longer than Eurovision, so much more. I mean, most people in Italy watch Sanremo and don't watch Eurovision. And Loredana Berte is just the encapsulation of all of that. She's an excellent character, a great singer. The song, I had huge expectations. After Cosa ti aspetti da me, which was a great song, and that's a really big hit in Italy, the bar was really high. So Pazza, I was expecting something a bit stronger maybe, but this absolutely deserves to be on top. I would be really interested to see this go to Eurovision, and I would love to see how it does. Knowing how the juries like to misbehave themselves, this probably would get Emma Marrone treatment. Yeah, I hate to say it, but I don't expect this to do great at Eurovision, as much as I love the song. Yeah, but if Loredana wins Sanremo, I think it would be the happiest Sanremo result I have ever lived for.
Put that into points.
It's a 10.
Joe?
We stan a Blue Queen, but I can't stand this song. It's a 6.
Oh, wow. Isaac?
I like it, but I hope it doesn't win. It's a 7.
I'll go 8. Next up, we have Ricchi e Poveri with Ma non tutta la vita. For me, this was one of the best songs and performances that we've heard during the first night. It's extremely catchy, it's very well performed, and for me, Angela and Angelo showed that they have more power and more energy than most of their younger competition. The performance had a concept, it worked well, it was interesting, from that massive bow that they were tied together in at the very beginning to dancing with all of the dancers who joined them later on stage. I don't know, it was just really lovely. It put a smile on my face and it just made me happy. Like, I was very surprised at the end of the night that they were not in the top 5, and I hope that they're going to get enough support from the radio juries and from the televotes to actually get a decent result. They're probably not going to win, but I do hope that they are going to end up in the top 10 in the final. And seeing as this is one of my top favorites, I'm going to kick this off with a 9. Sean?
7.
Joe?
Take a bow, sir. This is an 8.
Isaac?
6.
4 songs left. We're going to continue with Fiorella, Mannoia, and Mariposa.
Fiorella, it kind of holds a massive place in my heart at Sanremo because, like, one of my earliest Sanremo memories was her performance of Che sia benedetta in 2017, which, like, still to this day makes me cry. Like, not because I hate it, because I absolutely love it. And Mariposa is it's almost like a sort of a Latin sort of Cuban coded song, like hence the Spanish title. And like the lyrical content, like if you look at it, like she's describing herself as all sorts of like mythological creatures, and like, you know, they call me lots of different names, but then it just descends into this like sort of drinking song of a chorus almost, as like everyone just goes I. It's kind of a hands in the air moment in the Ariston, and you know, one that is going to be recreated in many bars across the country, I imagine, during the summer. You know, Fiorella, you know, she may be one of the older contestants, but again, Sanremo treats its old like gold, and you know, this is absolutely deserving of a good place. You know, the juries are going to lap this up. I don't know what the public's going to think, but yeah, Fiorella, ciao Fiorella.
Punti per Fiorella, Joe?
I'm going to give this 8.
Isaac?
This is my least favourite song, but in Sanremo it's still a 5.
Not one of my least favorites. I'm going to give this a 6. Sean?
Absolutely not my least favorite. This is an 8.
We continue with Rose Villain and Click Boom.
Yeah, this one's a really weird one. It starts off sounding like it's going to be a really sort of strong pop ballad type song, and then the drop sort of came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it. I thought it was building really nicely, and then it just completely threw me off. I really like the start of the song, and I like the drop as well, but I don't think they work well together. I think it's just mixing 2 songs, and it doesn't really work. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still enjoy listening to it. I just wish that there was a bit more of a connect between the verses and the chorus, because separately they're both strong. It just doesn't really feel like a complete package to me.
I think we might finally agree on one. Out of 10, Isaac?
It's a 7.
Yeah, we're not. I'm going to give this a 4. Sean?
7.
Joe?
Yeah, poor girl's given herself too much to do. This is a 6.
Second to last song finished second with the press jury. It's La Noia, performed by Angelina Mango. There was just something really enjoyable about this song. It was very upbeat, and again, this was one of those that made my foot tap to it from the very beginning. The arrangements of this song are very, very interestingly done, and I felt that Angelina's vocals work into the song perfectly. An additional plus for me was just seeing how much she was enjoying being on that stage, singing her song, and she delivered a pretty good, sorry, not pretty good, she delivered an amazing vocal performance as well. And whilst doing it, she was dancing all around the stage. Contrary to the title, which I believe means like boredom, for me, this was not boring at all. It was an amazing song. It was an amazing performance, and to be fair, I did not expect it to be in the top 5 with the press jury. Don't ask me why, I don't know. But it was just like a very positive surprise that she ended up second, and I hope that she manages to keep it up with the other jury as well, and with the televotes as well, because she totally deserves it.
It's so rare that you get a banger with such a solid vocal performance. Like that a cappella bit had me on the floor.
I think she's great, but I really don't want this song to win at all, and I don't get the hype behind it.
As mentioned multiple times, Isaac and I are never going to agree. I'm going to give this song a 9. Sean?
Dieci giorni. Oh, wait, never mind. That was Annalisa. It's a 10.
Joe?
This is also a 9.
Isaac?
5.
And last but not least, we have BigMama with La rabbia non ti basta.
I always had a bit of a soft spot for BigMama ever since she did that guest performance with Elodie last year, which is still one of my favourites from Covers Night that year. As soon as she walked down the staircase in that sort of ostrich feather dress combined with the Barbara Pravi style bodice, like, you know, you knew this was going to be absolutely epic. And this song, it like, if you just listen to the beat, like, it sounds like incredibly upbeat and affirming, and that's kind of the message that she wants to convey. But like, this song goes really deep, like it's really emotional, the kind of subject matter that she's talking about. Like, she's talking to her younger self and basically saying, you know, look at me now, I'm on stage at the Ariston, and it clearly meant a lot to her. And a lovely twerk for some Fanta Sanremo points as well. It did not go unnoticed, but just like the pure emotion of this performance that, like, you know, cut through the auto-tune at times, you know, that like she's just screaming like her appreciation. And then like the way that she sort of hugged Amma at the end, like you just felt every moment of this song. And, you know, well, shout out to the orchestra as well. Like, the violins in an Italo house song absolutely work, and we need it in more national finals.
Can I just say one thing? It was so beautiful seeing how emotional she was all throughout the performance. It was like this was the culmination of her career. And in a music industry that is sometimes so, it could be so manipulative at times. I'm not referring to the Italian music industry, I'm talking in general. It's so nice to see a performance with so much raw, genuine emotion. I absolutely love it.
Last song out of 10. Joe?
It's another Dieci from me. 10.
Isaac?
7.
I'll go 7 as well. Sean?
Oh, 7.
As you can see, it's a very close race, but the favorite of the four of us is Annalisa, who scored 34 points, and we have a three-way tie for second place between the Kolors, Dargen D'Amico, and Angelina Mango, who all scored a point less, 33. As you know, this was all based on our personal thoughts and opinions, but let's try and predict now who's actually going to win Sanremo and represent Italy in Malmö.
Well, one act for sure, as he always does every year. He enters, he does terrible with the press jury, and then he climbs his way up to the leaderboard, and he will be in the top 5. His name is Irama. I think the televote is really going to have his back, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to win. I think a woman is going to win Sanremo, and it's between the current top 3 on the leaderboard. Something tells me that Annalisa is going to pull through, and this could be her year. But Angelina Mango is on her heels. But for predictions, I'm just going to say Annalisa.
So yeah, for me as well, it is between Annalisa and Angelina Mango. Like, before the first night, which, by the way, we've only seen the first night after having recorded this. Well, us three. Isaac's only seen the music videos, but you can't win everything. So after the first night, before the first night, I would have said it's going to be a sweep for Annalisa. But actually, Angelina Mango is getting more flack on YouTube, on Spotify, on pretty much every platform, really. So maybe she could pull off not exactly a surprise in the televote, but certainly a result that we maybe weren't expecting before the contest, and take Sanremo and take her brand of boredom kumbaya to Malmö.
Last year, I think it was fairly obvious Marco was going to win. I haven't seen these live, and I think it's far more open. This is probably the hardest selection to predict. But just going off everything I've heard and what I've seen, I think it will be Annalisa. I don't care what you say. I think Angelina Mango is out. I'm rooting for Irama, but I think it'll be Annalisa.
I agree that this is actually really, really hard to predict, and I believe that not only like 2 or 3 acts, I believe that there's like at least like 5 or 6 acts that would be like up for victory and that are going to be very close to each other in the end. But I do agree that I believe that a woman is going to win this year, and I also agree that it's most probably going to be Annalisa. Now watch her fail. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to let us know in the comment section down below whether you agree or maybe disagree with any of our thoughts and opinions, and also subscribe to our channel to be up to date with all of our upcoming videos. I want to thank Sean, Joe, and Isaac for joining me for this video, and we're going to see you very soon with our next reaction video. Thanks, and enjoy Sanremo. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.